bone-chilling moments
Oh my god.
and disturbing clips that horrified everyone around the world.
Oh my god.
Universal's Islands of Adventure in Orlando is known for its thrilling attractions and immersive worlds, but one guest recently shared an experience that left him wondering whether something unexpected had slipped into the park. While walking near the entrance of the Lost Continent, he paused beneath a stone stile and captured a pale hand slowly emerging from the shadows. It stayed visible for only a second before quickly pulling back out of sight. Now some say they hear low, growling or rumbling sounds coming from beneath that same bridge, as if something is moving in the darkness below. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bridge apparition. In 2008, two men in Indonesia decided to take a shortcut across an old bridge, unaware of the stories tied to it. As they walked deeper into the darkness, they noticed a woman standing quietly ahead, completely still. Thinking she might need help, one of them raised his torch and pointed it toward her, but what the light revealed instantly stopped them in their tracks. The figure had only a lower body, with no visible face, no arms, nothing above it, just an incomplete form standing unnaturally in place. Panic took over as they abruptly stopped recording and rushed off the bridge. But the encounter didn't end there. In the days that followed, they began experiencing strange, unexplainable disturbances around them, and they have never uploaded another video since. Headless figure. In India, Sultanganj Ganga Ghat is known as a deeply sacred location where pilgrims gather for prayers and rituals. A man was passing through the ghat when he noticed someone sitting nearby, softly reciting verses from a religious book. But as he looked closer, something about the figure didn't seem right. The man's body was there with the book in his hands, yet there was no head above his shoulders. The sight froze him in place. Shaken, the witness hurried away, convinced he had just encountered something beyond explanation. Locked room. A young girl was home alone, filming herself, when strange noises drew her toward a room. Peering inside, she saw children being fed by an old woman. Panic set in, and she ran but fainted before she could escape the house. Later, a paranormal investigator explained the history. The house had once been home to a family of spirits, harmless unless disturbed. To prevent conflict, that particular room had been locked long ago, and no one dared to enter. The presence of the spirits lingers quietly, a reminder that some entities prefer solitude and will remain in their space until left undisturbed. Unseen house guest. After returning from vacation, a man expected peace, but his home had other plans. Strange sounds echoed through empty rooms, and objects vanished without explanation. One night, faint knocking came from a closed door. With his pulse racing, he approached, and in that brief instant, a dark face appeared, its glowing eyes fixed on him. Fear overtook him, and he recited sacred verses, throwing a light toward the corner. It vanished, as if swallowed. From that moment on, he could never leave home unattended, convinced that a patient, unseen presence had claimed it while he was away. Scary closet clip. Two friends explored an abandoned house around 3 in the morning, hoping to capture something unusual. At first, everything was quiet. But, in a dim room, as they approached a closet, a hand suddenly lunged out, trying to grab one of them. He jumped back, shaken. The cameraman leaned in, but the closet was empty. Then, loud, unsettling sounds filled the air, echoing from unseen corners. Terrified, the friends scattered, one hiding behind a couch, the other bolting outside. The house had made its warning clear. Visitors were not welcome. Haunted hostel. One night, a student staying in her hostel experienced something deeply unsettling. She was in the study room when the door began swinging open and closed on its own. Assuming it was a prank, she approached, but it moved again, with no one there. Stepping outside, she spotted a dark, shadowy figure gliding silently along the gallery above. Still unsure what she was seeing, she moved closer, and the figure let out a piercing, unnatural scream. She dashed back inside, hiding under a table and calling for a friend. The figure remained outside, watching. The hostel, near an old cemetery, had long carried rumors of restless spirits, but now she had witnessed one firsthand. Dark encounter. A man explored an abandoned site during a live TV stream, carrying only a torch. As he stepped forward, the camera briefly caught a dark-faced figure lurking in the shadows, but he didn't notice. Moving further, he felt a presence watching him. Then he saw it clearly. A djinn, standing just beyond reach in the darkness. Terrified, he turned and ran, leaving the place behind. Had he stayed, the entity might have followed him home, searching for a new host. Hey! Kitchen doppelganger. Near Jakarta, Indonesia, a couple reportedly under the effects of black magic experienced something chilling. One evening, a man walked toward the kitchen to find his wife cooking, but moments later, her voice called him from the bedroom. Confused, he went to check, and there she was, calm and unaware. Frozen, he realized someone else was in the kitchen. A sudden noise revealed a black-faced figure wearing his wife's clothes. It was clear. A djinn was at play, using the couple as its stage, leaving them trapped in fear. Angry house. A team of independent filmmakers visited an abandoned house, thinking it would be the perfect setting for their next haunted movie. At first, curiosity and excitement filled the air, but as soon as they stepped inside, chaos erupted. Chairs flew, doors slammed, and cupboards burst open, all without human touch. The spirit inside was furious, powerful enough to drive them out and warn them of its presence. Terrified, the crew fled, still unsure whether the project was worth the real danger. Some places, they learned, are more than just a backdrop. Claimed home. A man returned to his old house, empty for the past 10 years, expecting nothing but memories. As he stepped inside, he immediately felt the air shift. On the upper floor, in the doorway of a room, a demonic figure stood completely still, as if waiting. The home he had left abandoned was no longer his. Something had claimed it. Every creak and shadow in the house now carried the weight of a presence that had settled in long before his return, making it clear that this space was no longer empty and never would be again. Fleeting intruder. A woman rested quietly in bed when she sensed someone at her door. She grabbed her phone and began recording, slowly zooming in. For a brief instant, a pale face appeared around the edge of the frame. Her heart raced as fear gripped her. Something had entered her home. Then it was gone. That single glimpse was enough to haunt her. Just the thought of it returning every night would be enough to keep anyone uneasy in their own space. Bridge encounter. At exactly 2:11 a.m., a driver slowed near a bridge after noticing something unusual on the roadside. Standing there was a dark, winged figure with glowing red eyes fixed in his direction. Its shape resembled a humanoid, but the wings made it something else entirely. Without warning, the creature spread those wings wide and lifted into the air. As it rose, the glowing red eyes shifted to a pale white before fading into the darkness. The brief encounter matched descriptions of the Mothman creature. Haunted investment. Buying a home at a bargain price seemed lucky until reality set in. Shortly after moving in, the new owner noticed odd noises, whispers coming from empty corners. One day, voices emerged from the kitchen cabinet. Hesitant, he opened it, but found nothing. Turning away, a pale face suddenly appeared, watching him with unmistakable intensity. Later, neighbors shared the house's grim history. Its previous occupants had vanished under mysterious circumstances. Their story never properly ended. Within days, he left, leaving the home empty, quietly waiting for the next unsuspecting tenant. Demon Bridge.
No, I'm serious. I heard something over there.
Put that cat down.
I heard something over there. I don't know what it was.
A team of paranormal investigators arrived at an old bridge that locals had long avoided after dark. Rumors had circulated for years about strange rituals taking place there, and many believed the location was tied to the legend of the Goatman. They switched on a spirit box and began asking simple questions. When they asked who was there, two clear words came through the device: Steve, Bridge. The investigators froze for a moment, replaying the audio to be sure they heard it correctly. Then an Ouija board was placed on the ground, and the group carefully began asking questions again. They waited for the planchette to move, hoping for more answers, but this time nothing responded, and they soon left. Unexplainable footage. A camera captured a moment near a canal that left viewers deeply unsettled. In the footage, a man suddenly appeared, walked straight to the edge without hesitation, and jumped into the water below. Just seconds later, a woman appeared on the opposite side and did the exact same thing. What made the clip even more disturbing is that no one has ever been able to identify either of them. There were no clear reports, no explanations, just two figures appearing out of nowhere and vanishing in a matter of seconds. So what in the world just happened? Comment below. Disturbing suitcase find.
What started as a fun adventure ended with a very grisly discovery. Some teens who were using a TikTok app that randomly generates a nearby location to explore got to the location. And as Amber Cogliano reports, they were shocked by what they found.
In June 2020, a group of teenagers in Seattle, Washington, used an app called Randonautica that generates random coordinates and sends users to unusual places to explore. They arrived at a remote beach along the shoreline, where they joked about smelling something foul and saw a suitcase. Still filming for TikTok, they carefully opened it and immediately called the cops. There was a trash bag, and the smell was that of something decaying. When officers arrived, they confirmed that the suitcase contained remains, which were later identified as 35-year-old Jessica Lewis and 27-year-old Austin Wenner. Despite the attention the case received, the person responsible has never been identified, let alone captured. Kiev bridge creature. Late at night, in Kiev, a tourist recorded something deeply unsettling beneath the pedestrian bridge. In the darkness, a pale, thin figure was seen climbing along the structure, its long arms stretching and bending in ways that didn't match any normal human movement. It didn't rush or panic. It moved with slow, deliberate control, making the moment even harder to process. I know it's not a rake or skinwalker, but what else could do something like this so effortlessly? Tulsa phenomenon.
See, it's like breathing.
Yeah. Over the Tulsa River, the sky shifted into something unfamiliar as orange-pink lights formed a sharp, structured pattern across the clouds. The display held steady for nearly 20 seconds, far longer than any lightning or natural reflection. A witness quickly zoomed in, capturing lights that appeared too organized to be random. The formation gave the impression of something hidden just beyond view, as if a layer of the sky had briefly revealed itself. Those watching described a strange stillness in the moment, waiting for something more to appear. Then, without warning, the lights faded.
No thunder, though.
It's getting brighter again.
Paraguay river discovery. In Carmen del Paraná, Paraguay, locals gathered after a strange body was found floating in a shallow river. The footage showed a partially decomposed figure with a humanoid shape and what looked like human-like hands, immediately sparking speculation. Many believed it could be the legendary chupacabra, a creature often linked to unexplained livestock encounters in the region. The video spread quickly, fueling fear and curiosity. Firefighters later recovered the body and handed it over for examination. Authorities suggested the features may have been altered by decomposition, while others argued it could still be something unknown. The true identity remains unknown. Monster below bridge.
Everyone stay behind the tape. It's moving. Get everyone clear.
Late at night, police lights flooded a quiet city bridge after multiple reports from passing drivers. Officers quickly blocked access and directed their flashlights toward the water below. Wrapped tightly around one of the bridge pillars was a massive snake, its body thick and unmoving. Even while coiled, a large portion extended into the dark water, making it impossible to tell where it ended. The stillness made it more disturbing, as if it had been there undisturbed for a long time.
Copy that. Keep back!
Lake figure. Hikers in Bolivia captured what seemed like a peaceful photo of a lake surrounded by mountains, but a closer look revealed something unexpected. On the far edge of the water, a faint figure appeared, semi-transparent and gray. Its limbs looked elongated, its posture upright, and its head rounded with hollow-looking eyes. The shape stood out against the landscape in a way that didn't match anything natural. Even more unsettling, the water below showed no reflection of the figure at all. It looked separate from the environment, as if it didn't fully belong there. Disturbing humanoid. Off the coast of Turkey, a man recorded something unusual emerging from the water. At first, it appeared as a dark shape breaking through the surface, moving slowly against the waves. As the camera zoomed in, the outline became clearer, a humanoid figure standing upright, maintaining its balance as the water shifted around it. The movement seemed controlled, not random, giving the impression of intent rather than drift. Local stories speak of sea-bound entities that appear briefly before disappearing without explanation. While some believe it could be debris or an object carried by currents, the posture and motion continue to leave doubt, keeping the moment unresolved. Thames River sighting. A tourist riding a cable car over the River Thames in London captured footage that quickly caught attention online. As the cabin moved across the river, the camera pointed downward and revealed a massive shape moving beneath the surface. 3 distinct humps rose from the water, gliding in a steady, controlled motion. The formation stayed visible for a few seconds, long enough to rule out a quick illusion, before slipping beneath the surface and disappearing entirely. Viewers replayed the clip repeatedly, trying to understand what they were seeing. Let me know what you think. Lake that took them. Villagers living near a lake known for strange activity grew increasingly alarmed after several children vanished in the area. Many believed a Banyu spirit was responsible, something tied to the water itself. Determined to face it, a group gathered one night and waited silently along the shore. Hours passed before a dark shape appeared, floating just beneath the surface. Acting quickly, they cast a net and managed to catch it. As they pulled it closer, the shape shifted, revealing a face that caused immediate panic. Before anyone could react, it broke free with force and sank back into the water. They searched for hours after, but whatever they encountered never surfaced again.
Get it.
Bride on the bridge. A man took a shortcut late at night, choosing a quiet bridge to reach home faster. As he stepped onto it, something ahead stopped him instantly. Floating above the road was a faint, humanoid figure, unmoving, yet impossible to ignore. Locals have long spoken of a bride whose life ended there under tragic circumstances, and many believe her presence still lingers. The figure appeared suspended in place, as if bound to that exact spot. The man didn't wait to understand what he was seeing. He moved past quickly, keeping his distance. Bridge of Satan.
Oh wow, look at this, look. Are those real bones?
Satan's Bridge had always carried whispers of unease, but a recent discovery pushed fear to a new level. Underneath the weathered stone, the ground was littered with large bones, scapulas, fragments of rib cages, and other skeletal pieces. No one could say how they ended up there. Were they remnants of long-forgotten rituals, left in isolation, or simply the remains of animals over time? Regardless, the sheer number of bones beneath a place already steeped in local legend made the bridge feel profoundly wrong. Many now avoid it once night falls, certain that the shadows above hide more than just the night.
They look like real bones. What the heck?
From the other side, Still mourning her mother, a woman noticed something chilling the moment she left her room. A dark shadow of a woman moved nearby, and a toy began playing on its own. No batteries, no explanation. Then a voice whispered, "Hola," her mother's voice. Panic set in immediately. The shadow wasn't her mother. It felt like something dark, taking advantage of her grief, pretending to be the familiar, and sending fear straight to her heart. The reflecting shadow? A man bought an antique mirror and placed it carefully in his home. Soon, he noticed something impossible. Decoration pieces appeared on his table in the reflection, even though the table was empty. Reality seemed to bend in the mirror. Then, a black shadow suddenly appeared on its surface, and the video cut. People debated whether the mirror held a curse, ancient magic, or something darker. Shaken, he returned it to the shop. Now it waits quietly, ready to reveal its next secrets to whoever owns it. Disturbing live intruder.
Like right there.
A woman went live on social media to show her home. When she turned the camera toward one room, a small shadow moved behind the door. It seemed young, almost childlike. Terrified, she ended the stream immediately, but the footage left viewers debating its authenticity. On replay, the shadow appeared undeniable. Since that day, she avoids the room entirely. Strange voices still echo from behind the closed door, but she dares not enter again. Haunting on tape. While lying on his bed and listening to music, a man's camera captured a disturbing sight, a pale face peeking from behind a dresser. Shocked, he investigated, underneath, around, and behind, but found nothing. Later, replaying the footage revealed the full image, hollow eyes staring directly at him. A priest told him it resembled a teenage girl who had been buried anonymously near the village. Now her presence lingers, and that night she had chosen him as her witness. Hospital shadows. On his first night duty, a hospital guard heard strange voices coming from a long closed wing. Heavy breathing, whispers of grief echoed through the dark corridors. He searched everywhere but found nothing, only the lingering sound of someone unseen. Shaken, he ended his recording. Later, while reviewing the footage, he saw her, a woman in a red sweater, standing near the stairs. Staff explained the wing had remained closed for years, haunted by the spirit of a patient who had suffered due to negligence. Some entities, it seems, never leave. Disturbing sessions.
How do we play?
Okay, so Frank.
A group of friends gathered around an Ouija board, expecting harmless fun. They followed every step, carefully moving the pointer and closing the session, but something wasn't ready to leave. Just as they were about to finish, the board moved on its own, crashing to the floor. Frozen in shock, they realized the game was far from over. Strange activity soon followed, and whatever had answered them didn't go away. The playful experiment had opened a door that could never fully close. Creepy basement eyes. A lone explorer entered an abandoned building, hoping to capture signs of haunting. The air was still at first, but in the basement, something waited. From behind a cracked wall, glowing eyes appeared, staring directly at him. Frozen in fear, he barely had time to react before the creature lunged. The camera fell, and the footage cut abruptly. What happened next remains unknown, leaving the encounter and the explorer's fate a lingering, haunting mystery. Unforgettable video. A video from a busy food stall shows a young girl standing quietly next to the vendor, waiting for her order. At first, everything seems perfectly normal then. In a sudden, horrifying moment, her face twists in a way no human expression could create. She isn't wearing a mask, and it isn't a joke or prank. The transformation is abrupt and unnatural. The vendor, frozen in shock, continues preparing food, unsure how to react. For anyone watching, the scene becomes unsettling. Serving a meal to someone who might not fully be human, or possibly something far darker, turns a mundane moment into something unforgettable. Gliding shadow. Late at night, a man was making his way toward the kitchen when he noticed a shadow moving silently through the hall. It glided effortlessly, vanishing into the basement as if it belonged there. Driven by unease, he followed, but when he reached the basement, the space was empty. Recently moved into the home, he realized with growing dread that his new place might already be inhabited by something unseen, something that had claimed it long before he arrived. The encounter left him unsettled, a reminder that sometimes a house has a presence of its own, silently watching its occupants. Restless graves. A paranormal investigator flew a drone over an old, overgrown cemetery, capturing footage of weathered gravestones. Suddenly, the drone's sensors beeped, alerting him to a nearby presence. He paused and watched in disbelief as a shadowy figure emerged, floating slowly away from one of the graves. It was as if the earth itself had released a wandering spirit. Was it a lost soul paying respect to another, or a restless entity condemned to linger among the tombs? In some places, the unalive never truly leave, and those who pass through may glimpse what refuses to rest. Tree lurker. A man's child went missing in a local park, and while desperately searching, he noticed something perched high in a tree. It was a terrifying entity, letting out cries that sounded almost human, as if trying to lure him closer. As he cautiously approached, the creature slowly turned its head toward him, revealing a face so unnatural and horrifying he could barely breathe. Panic took over, and he ran without glancing back. Since that night, stories about the tree have multiplied. Locals, now avoided after dark, convinced anyone venturing too close risks encountering the entity. Forest specter. A tourist lost his way in a dense, silent forest and stumbled upon an abandoned building. Peering through a broken window, he saw a dark figure lurking inside. It wasn't an animal, and its shape and posture felt wrong, unnatural, almost demonic, like something from a nightmare or an unknown cryptid. Frozen for a moment, he could only stare before moving away, heart pounding. The building seemed alive with an unseen presence, and the forest surrounding it suddenly felt far more menacing than he had imagined, every shadow hinting at what might be watching him.
Oh my God.
Sliding jar. A woman was home alone when strange activity began. While recording herself on camera, she noticed a jar on the table moving by itself. Slowly, it slid across the surface, inching closer to the edge, teetering as if it might fall at any moment. There was no wind, no vibration, nothing to explain it. Something unseen was clearly at work, making its presence known. The jar's movements left her frozen, realizing that her house was no longer entirely her own, and that a restless, invisible force was making itself felt.
Leave. I don't know who you are, but you have to leave.
Entity in apartment.
Oh my God.
A young woman in the Netherlands was alone in her apartment late one night when the unusual began. The kitchen lights flickered on and off, drawers and cabinets opened by themselves, and the chandelier above swayed even though no breeze existed. When she stepped into the kitchen, everything suddenly stopped, only to start again when she returned to the living room. It became clear that the apartment was haunted. Whatever presence lingered there was persistent, refusing to leave, making her understand that some spaces hold entities that will not be ignored and will not let anyone feel safe within them. Vengeful spirit.
Meu Deus!
A paranormal investigator returned to the infamous Maria Benzadera house, hoping to document its dark history. Suddenly, Maria Benzadera herself appeared before him, a terrifying vision that left him frozen. The house was long known for being haunted, the restless spirit of a woman who had lived and passed away there. Years ago, Maria had attempted a blessing ritual, but it went horribly wrong, ending her life during the ceremony. Her presence never left, and the house remained one of the most feared locations in the area, a place where the past refuses to rest.
Meu Deus!
Time for today's subscribers' pick of the day.
Wait.